Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Just to be clear right off the bat, this is going to be me just doing some talking. If you're not into that, please feel free to exit the video now and go watch something else. For those of you who are interested in learning a little bit about GPUs, from my humble opinion, stick around because I have a lot to say. I'm not going to go too long, but just want to give you my opinion on certain things. So I have been seeing, this is a 6900 XT card. Now, obviously, I made a video previously talking about the chiplet design and failing, and on the 7000 GPUs, RX 7000, AMD. But that's not exclusive to chiplet design. It does happen on the 6000 series as well. It happens on many NVIDIA GPUs as well. So it's not exclusive to AMD. But you see that bubble there? Yeah. Okay. So this is basically a dead core, and the only way to figure this out is either to inject some voltage into the system, into the PCB, and see what glows. Sometimes it'll glow around this area here because that's where the bubble is. That's where the the pop. Sometimes you won't see any glowing, but you will keep hearing. If you have your multimeter in continuity mode, you will keep hearing that beeping sound, telling you there's a short somewhere in the circuitry. And you go on you go crazy trying to find where that short is. You try everything, but ultimately, it's hidden under the core. So sometimes that does happen. Other times, you see it very obviously. This is another 6900 XT. And you see those two bubbles there? Yeah. As you may very well guess, of course, this is a dead GPU. Now, why does this happen? This is kind of hard to predict because you don't know what the history of the card is. But just by been doing this for a little while now, repairing GPUs, and from what I have seen is that cards that end up like this, or like this, cores like this, typically have a powerful VRM. This is made by Infineon, or International Rectifier. These are very expensive chips, power drivers, your MOSFETs, okay? This is what powers your GPU, what controls the power delivery of your GPU. The PWM controller talks to these phases here, and that's how the power is distributed and controlled. Now, these are 70 amp MOSFETs. These are very expensive and high quality. These cores are not, they do not share that same, they do not share that same quality control per se, or level. For example, these are 70 amps. The MOSFETs on this card here, this is the ASRock 6900 XT formula. Okay, these PWM or these phases are 90 amp each phase. Okay, and there's a ton load of phases on the PCB of this card. I have it in the box. Let me just show you. Okay, so here is the ASRock formula PCB. Now, when I first started troubleshooting this little card here, or nothing little about this thing, but when I started troubleshooting this, I found that two of the driver MOSFETs here, these two were blown. Okay, so I removed them, thinking, okay, that's going to be the short. That'll fix the problem. Easy peasy. When I checked again, the short on 3.3 was still there. So I thought, you know what? Let me just lift the core and see if my suspicions are correct. And yes, indeed, that's where this came from, this board. So again, this is a very strong VRM, 90 amps, okay? 70 amps, 90 amps. And it's got a ton load of driver MOSFETs. This is a strong PCB, high quality, very expensive to put together. Okay, these are not cheap phases. MPS and Infineon, or international rectifier, make the best of the best. That's just point blank. Okay, but here's the issue that I have experienced, okay, with cards like this, that the better the VRM, the higher quality and the more MOSFETs that you drop into a board like this, the more likely it is for those cards to end on my bench. I serve Norway, Scandinavia, repairing GPUs. That's the pattern that I have seen. The better the VRM, the more likely the core is to die or to pop, okay? And the reason is because of overclocking. This is just my theory. I just don't see any other reason why, with such a quality and strong VRM and such quality PWM controller, that this would happen, unless you're pumping a ton load of voltage or power into a little chip like this, okay? So what makes a great graphics card? What makes a good graphics card? It's really not the amount of phases. Now, I am not talking to those of you who like overclocking. If you're an overclocker, then you know what to look for. You know, I think it's safe to assume that you know what you're doing, you know what you're looking for, okay? Now, if you buy this card, expensive as it is, okay? Any of these cards with a powerful VRM like this. Now, you're not an overclocker per se, you know, like a pro overclocker. You take this home, you plug it into the system, and you start doing your own little overclocking, you know, raising up the voltage, just try to squeeze as much power as you can out of this card. The VRM can take it, okay? The VRM, the power delivery on the card can take it, yes, but this can't. This will fail on you. Just because you're able to crank up the power and squeeze this, squeeze as much performance out of these cards as you can, it doesn't mean that you should do it. Just because you have the ability, just because the power delivery is there, it doesn't mean that you should. Because this cores, okay, there's binning that they do, okay, that's understandable, but they're all the same. They're all consume the same power. Some are better binned than others, handle overclocking a little better than others, but in the end, they're all the same, okay? They don't vary like 70 amps versus 90 amp. There's no such thing. These are all the same. Slightly binned for better or worse, sure. But you will kill your GPU if you think that you're going to buy the best of the best and then you go and pump a ton of voltage into this little core. Just because your graphics card can do it, it doesn't mean that you should. That's what I'm trying to get at. You will kill your GPU. You will kill it most likely because these chips can only tolerate so much. It doesn't matter. You can have a water block. You can have whatever it is. Eventually, it will fail if you're pumping too much power into it. So my recommendation is this. What makes a good graphics card is really not the amount of faces that you see on the PCB. It's not that. It's actually the quality of the faces that you get on the PCB. I would any day trade 50 amp MOSFETs, 14 phases, for example, over a 20 phase power delivery, over a 20 phase power delivery made by, let's just say, onsemi or alpha and omega. I would any day trade that for 14 phases with Infineon or international rectifier or MPS phases. If they're made by these two companies, which again, they are quality, I would much rather have 14 phases made by MPS or Infineon than, say, I've seen 24 phases made by onsemi, Rich Tech, or whatever other companies out there. I would much rather have that. Because I know in the end, I'm not going to be doing any overclocking. I'm going to let the car boost whatever is out of factory. And that car is going to last me for many years if I take good care of it. Okay. If you want a good graphics card, it's not about the amount. It's about the quality. So this is the mistake that a lot of people make, that I have been seeing with these expensive GPUs, 4090s, 5090s, 3090s, 3090 Ti's that have those expensive power drivers, and a ton of them. I've been seeing a lot of them coming in with dead cores. So that's the reason for this video. Just wanted to point that out really quick. Just because the ability is there, it doesn't mean that you should. And also, it's not about quantity, but really quality. Again, you can check which, if, for example, if you're in the market, and I talked about this in a previous video, you can check on Tech Power Up. If you're in the market for a new GPU and you want to know what is good, what should you be looking for? As you can tell here, XFX, 0 fuses anywhere. No fuses from on the 12-volt rail from the PSU. No fuses here from the PCIe slot. The same with this card here. 0 fuses anywhere. Okay? 0 fuses here either. Typically you find a 10 amp fuse in this area here. But yet they give you a ton of power drivers. Okay? Which results in this, because you have no fuses. So yes, this is going to reach the core. When these die, boom, the next thing to go is the core. If you have fuses, the fuses will pop. Maybe one of these will pop, but it'll stop the core from being damaged. Okay, so that, for me, it will be an easy fix. Just replace your dead power driver and your fuses. Done. Replacing a core is a whole different thing. It's more expensive. Yeah, it's going to cost you. Not only do I have to go and look for a donor core, or you have to do the homework yourself, and hopefully you find a good one that is not dead from China or somewhere. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about. Go on Tech Power Up, look up your model, the card that you're got an eye out for, and number one, fuses. Make sure that you see those fuses in the areas that matter. Okay, here. And the quality of your faces, not the amount of faces. That's irrelevant if you want to buy a good graphics card that you want to game on for many years, and you're going to take care of it, and it'll last you for many, many, many years. If you're an overclocker, I'm not talking to you. You know what to do. You know what to look for. You know, that's on you. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about. Just because, yeah, you have the power ability there, it doesn't mean that you should. You most likely, probably, will end up with something like this. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, hit thumbs up. You know, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.